y'all. My name is Jasmine Jones, and I am a licensed clinical social worker. And you are now watching Black Girl, a Therapist in the Wild. And this little show I like to call Therapist Sips and Reviews, early 2000 rewind. And we are reviewing Baby Boy, which was released in 2001. And we are sipping on Kahlua and then chocolate flavored Kahlua. How y'all doing? So, over the past week, I feel like, the hatred for Black women has been loud and clear and fiery and overwhelming. And, from DDG and Hallie and to Chris Brown to, to Tory Lanez to Diddy and the defense these motherfuckers keep coming to for these niggas that hate Black women. And then they also, basically the ones defending them, also hate Black women. And then to top it off, this show about this little girl becoming Iron Man or whatever the fuck, just the hatred, the spewed hatred towards her from not just white people, not just other people of color, but Black men specifically that do not want to see this little Black girl be great. Like, for what? Like, there's a whole comic book out. I remember when they released that comic book. I didn't read it, but I was just like, oh, that's cool, but like, she's canon. She's in the story. There's a whole comic book. She has a whole comic book series. So yes, they made a show for her character that's coming way far after it was supposed to be released. Black Panther 2 was like 3 years ago. And then just the spew of hatred, like, and it's hatred because there's no logical explanation that they can give for why they dislike this show. It's just a bunch of, she's ugly. We don't need a Black girl as an Iron Man. And I'm just like, I don't even think she's replacing Iron Man. I think she's just like her own character that made an iron suit and she's her own separate, I don't know. But like, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to put it on repeat and I'm going to review it. And just like Forever got a season 2. Yes, we get to see them during the pandemic years. It's magical. I don't know when it's going to be released because they still ain't came out with Supercell season 2 yet. So I don't know. But they said there's a season 2 for Forever. That's magical. I'm going to pray and hope that enough Black people, Black women in particular, watch that show. Keep it on repeat in your house. Just let it play in the background on repeat over and over again until, there's enough viewership for them to be like, maybe we should consider a season 2. But then there was enough viewership for Lovecraft Country and they took it away from us. So, what? I don't know. I'm tired. So I spent a lot of last week, doing nice things for myself, reminding myself that I love myself, that I am loved. I went to Disneyland. I created art. I did nice things for myself. And it helps, And like I was telling some of my clients this weekend who are also experiencing the hatred, like, even when you're doing nice things for yourself and you kind of distance yourself from the negativity, misogynoir, and hatred of others and your own people, when it gets that loud, where it's multiple things throughout the week that are happening that exemplify the hatred towards Black women, it's still going to hurt you. It's still going to affect you. It's still going to make you feel a type of way. And so even though I poured into myself, I was still upset. It just kind of took the edge off a little bit. So I was going to do Baby Boy last week because I was like on this big range thing. I was like, I want to see Baby Boy again and see Big Range. Because there was the People Under the Stairs and Baby Boy are the 2 movies that I actually found him attractive in. Everything else, he just seems like an older uncle. It's probably really nice in real life. He went to like Juilliard and shit. He's like a professional. Or some famous acting school. I don't know. I think it was Juilliard. I don't know. And then Forever came out. So I was just like, okay, now I'm going to do this because it's 2 little dark-skinned kids. But now I just feel like Baby Boy is so prompt and it just so just clearly shows why these niggas are this way. John Singleton was in his mental health bag when he made this movie, because when I watched it as a kid, I didn't think of it as like a comedy per se, but like I didn't really grasp the concept of what was happening. I was just like, this nigga's trash, and like she keeps screaming at him, and what's going on? And it was just some nigga shit, but it wasn't like a hood movie, like shooting people and stuff like that. It was following this nigga's life. And so I was just like, I didn't know what category to put it in. This is a psychological examination of the black man and how his ineptitude at dealing with his own trauma affects not only him, but everyone else around him. That's what this is about. That's why in the beginning of the movie, they show him in a womb as a grown-ass man. And they quote the doctor, what's her name? Let me see, I looked her up and read some of her stuff. And they quote the doctor, what's her name? Frances Cress Welsing, who had a lot of studies. She passed away, God rest her soul, in 2016. She did a lot of studies on the black community, African Americans, slavery, and why racism affects black people so much, and why racism is in white people. And literally, like, she came up with this theory that basically just says white people feel inferior. And they feel inferior to us, and they feel inferior to the fact that they are the minorities within the world. There are less white people in the world than there are people of color. And so they needed to conquer everything. But this is what I've been saying the whole time. Racism is just an offshoot of people not liking themselves and being bullies. And then they did it to themselves first. You know, they conquered Europe and did all this stuff to themselves first because they didn't like themselves, period. And then they went and did it to everybody else in the world. And so it makes sense. And so it also makes sense that experiencing trauma as a black man and never having, people around you to support you in actually healing and seeing these things and growing from that. Like, black men are literally surrounded by enablers, And this is coming from like early 2000s, 90s, and the times before social media. Because social media came along. That's why I don't dislike social media. Because if you are strong-minded enough to overlook this bullshit and actually look at the stuff that matters, social media allowed a lot of women, especially black women, to come together and share the similar stories of toxic emotional abuse and physical abuse and sexual abuse that they've been experiencing in these heterosexual relationships with these black men, and then realizing that all of our stories are the same. Like, literally, even Baby Boy is a commentary on how our stories are all the same. Like, her getting picked up by her nigga from work. Like, I don't necessarily think that we all as a collective realize how each and every one of us were experiencing that type of manipulation. The way he gaslights her in this movie. I don't think as a collective we all realize that. The way that she was overwhelmed and frustrated with this nigga for cheating on her and lying to her, and she was putting hands on this nigga and doing all this crazy stuff like smelling his dick, and the lengths that she was pushed to. No, she shouldn't have been hitting him. She should have just fucking left. But the lengths that she was pushed to because she was tired of trying to make this nigga take accountability for his actions and stop hurting her emotionally. So even this is a commentary on our collective experiences as black women when these relationships with these black men in particular are just in a relationship with a manipulative person. But let's just stick with black men. This is heterosexual. If it applies, let it fly. If it doesn't, let it go. But I'm focusing on the heterosexual because I feel like this is where a lot of our trauma has come from these cis heterosexual black men in our community that are not working on themselves and their issues. So we start the movie off with Tyrese. He's in the womb, right? He's in the room talking about like the doctor that said that black men are basically infantilized because of experiencing racism and stuff like that. And they're basically grown children. And all that is saying is black men have been so traumatized in this world, but because they haven't been surrounded by people that have allowed them to express emotions and communicate their feelings and shit like that, they don't know how to deal with all of their challenging emotions. So all the time, every time they get triggered, they regress to childhood, temper tantrums, sex, lying, doing drugs, things like that that most people experience when they don't know how to communicate their emotions. And so they're infantilized. And then they're surrounded by a lot of Black women who have been taught that we have to cater to these men. This patriarchal shit is in damn near every patriarchal culture. You got the Asian people over here feeling like they got to cater to them, they niggas, and Asian women got to be quiet and polite and swallow everything and not deal with nothing that these niggas is doing to them. That's why I'm so happy that South Korea has that 4K or 4 whatever movement and shit, and they going against these niggas, because fuck them niggas, girl. You got the Latin people over here with the machismo shit. You know how many Latin women I've seen as clients who have come in talking about their daddy had machismo and was doing fuck shit to them, and then their husband, and then their next husband, and then their brothers, and all the men was just making them little fucking slaves in the house and some shit like that. And how fucked up it made them mentally. Like, you have, and then our culture, we are forced to be these strong Black women that just put up with it and put up with, like, you even see it in the mothers of the women that are his baby mamas, or at least the one mother. Like, she just sits there and is just shaking her head and watching the baby and allowing this nigga to be up in her house fucking her daughter, while she's just like, damn it, the cycle is continuing. Yes, girl, because nobody's fighting back. Nobody's letting these niggas go out on their own and figure their shit out, because at this point, they're too old to be talked to. Go find somebody that, because obviously your mama, you ain't listening to your mama, you ain't listening to your woman. Go find somebody to talk to about your problems that you'll actually listen to, because at this point, everybody around you is sucked dry and tired of your shit, okay? All we want, and the thing is that Black men are surrounded by so much love. Usually the abusive ones are. They're surrounded by so much love, but because they don't love themselves, they don't see the love that they're receiving. And they can't find peace, full peace in the fact that they're loved and cared for and things like this. So you got this nigga living in his mama's house. I don't know how old he is, maybe like 23. He's been to jail, you know. He's been through stuff. He's been traumatized. His dad ain't in the home. He's watched his mom be beat by her ex, and then the ex had to orchestrated his brother getting kicked out the house, and his brother ended up shot. And so now he has this hood trauma and this grief trauma from his brother being shot, and him scared that his mom is gonna kick him out the house next. And I was put it on the mom too. No, not all single mothers are pieces of shit, okay? And she's not a piece of shit per se, but I just feel like you pedestalize men a little bit. You pedestalize them so much, you allow some nigga in your house that was beating on you to kick out one of your other sons, and he ended up dead. Now, no, they don't need to be up in the house until they're 30 or 40. But at this point, if the only thing outside is for them to get shot up and killed, and they ain't got no goals or aspirations and shit, why are we sending them outside like that? Let's grow some goals and aspirations for them and shit before you decide that you're gonna bring this nigga up in the house that beat on you and shit. And so he's scared to see his mom beat. He's scared that his mom's gonna kick him out the house, like the other nigga made his brother get kicked out of the house, and then he's scared to get shot dead in the street. His niggas up in here having nightmares and shit and flashbacks throughout the whole movie. They show the nightmares, they don't show the flashbacks, but you can tell he's having a flashback when his homeboy, Sweet Pea, that's Cuba Gooding Jr.'s brother, Omar Gooding, that's his name. And why is this nigga dressed like a cholo? I remember back then when I watched it too, I was just like, is he supposed to be like mixed with like Latin or something? Like, why is he dressed like a cholo throughout this whole maybe black folks dress like cholos and shit in the hood. I don't fucking know. I didn't really see black folks dressing like cholos, but you know, maybe, I don't know. We got this nigga. He wants to do better too. He's a little bit more like, not necessarily mature, but he knows something is wrong because he doesn't want to feel like a child and infantilized anymore. But he doesn't know how to get out of that. So he's trying to think of different ways and ideas how to get out of that because he doesn't want to be on the streets anymore. He doesn't want to shoot nobody and kill nobody and go to jail, right? So he's trying to figure that out. But on the process, he's doing like hood rat shit that's low-key traumatizing his friends. So like when Tyrese goes to his homeboy's house and his homeboy is, you know, in there with his girlfriend, he's also living with his girlfriend and his girlfriend's mom with no job, and they give him money, you know, all things. He he's arguing back and forth with these women in the house. The mom is just standing in the kitchen silent, shaking her head like she's tired. She done been there, done that, seen this, don't know how to get her child out of it. So she just shaking her head in the kitchen. The daughter's arguing with him back and forth. Whatchamacallit, what's his name? Jody comes over, right? And he just sitting on the couch watching this nigga argue with the women, and low key he's getting anxious. I'm just like, why is he getting so anxious? Like, did something happen? And then I realized this nigga's having a flashback to when he had to sit and watch his mom get her ass beat by niggas. And that's why he wanted to get up and get the fuck up out of there, because he was having a flashback. His nervous system was activated. And because we don't go to therapy, he didn't know what was going on. He just knew that he needed to get the fuck up out of there. The second time it happened was when the little boys jumped him and stole his liquor and stuff. And so him and his homeboy went to like beat their little asses and shit. And they punched the little boys in the face, knocked them on the ground. But then the last one had heart because he didn't flinch when the nigga raised his fist or whatever. I don't know. The things that men clarify as something to be proud of. Whatever, girl. But then the nigga was like, but I'm gonna whoop your ass. And then he took the belt out and started beating them and shit and started saying, who's your daddy? I'm your daddy. Da-da-da. And this nigga, you can see that he was dissociating. Like Jody was sitting up there just staring and scared and dissociating and shit like that, going back to his own childhood where probably something similar like that happened to him with his own father or maybe his mom's boyfriend or something. So this nigga is severely traumatized. He's been probably physically abused. He's been abandoned by his dad and emotionally by his mom. He's also has grief trauma from his brother dying in the street, and he has hood trauma from just living in the hood and experience all of this shit. So there was no time to be concentrating on school, because I was just like, why this nigga don't go to school? Do something. Get a degree. Like, be a nurse. Do something. And there was no time to focus on school. So when you grow up like that, like back in the day with no social media and nothing, no way to look things up, because I had to check myself when I was watching Set It Off and when I did the review for Set It Off. Because I was just like, why they ain't, try going and seeing if they can get benefits and things, because there was no fucking internet like that, bitch. Like today, the internet makes it easy to find resources and shit. Back in 2001 and the 90s and shit, the internet you couldn't find resources and shit like you could today. Google wasn't out like that. I don't even think we had YouTube back then. Like, I think YouTube came around in 2005 and it wasn't videos on there like that. It took a few years for videos to be on YouTube like that. So these niggas don't, like, literally to get resources, you would have to go down to the county office and stand in line for most of the day to get up to the window to ask the lady for resources, and then probably make an appointment and then come back and then still be there. Like, it was a whole process to get resources from the community and from the federal government and shit, so that you could be able to like persevere in this situation. So I'm gonna give it to him, because it was really hard to look up resources for himself. Yes, he could have went to school, but if you ain't been focusing on school and getting good grades this whole time when you was in high school and junior high, school is the furthest thing from your mind, especially when you're growing up. Back then, they was really racist. They say shit to kids today, black kids today in school, like these white teachers, they be calling kids stupid and shit like that. But back then, it was less likely for them to get caught. So I think it was more extreme that these white teachers literally didn't care about these black students. Like, a lot of them didn't. They're calling these kids stupid. They were saying these kids weren't going to make it to college. They weren't giving these kids hope enough to want to try. And then you got hood shit going on, and you got some nigga at the house beating on your mama, so you ain't thinking about school, so you still not thinking about school, so I had to let that shit go, right? But at the end of the day, this nigga is still severely traumatized, and because he's traumatized, he doesn't know how to relate to Yvette when she's emotional. So we go from the birth, from the womb, to now we are walking Yvette out of the clinic because she just got an abortion because he got her pregnant. And she's severely traumatized. And this is what I tell my clients about abortion. How you deal with an abortion is based off the individual. What you think about an abortion is based off the individual, because I've seen too many clients who feel like they've murdered their child, and me telling them that they haven't murdered their child isn't going to make that feeling go away. They have to grieve that. Okay, some people feel like they murdered a child when they get an abortion, but they still have to make the decision because life and shit, right? They have to grieve that. That's a real feeling inside of them. So I'm not going to sit up here and be like, oh no, you didn't murder your child. That's like acting like they don't feel the way that they feel. No, if you don't think you murdered a child, you think it's a ball of cells and shit, that's great. You think that for yourself and it's not a big deal to you. Okay. But some people do. And I'm not saying like don't get abortions and pro life and all. I'm saying that people need to figure that shit out for themselves. And some people are traumatized by that shit. They think they killed a child and they need to grieve it. It is what it is. And so she was traumatized and overwhelmed and sad. And he just was like, oh, like, are you okay? You want me to get you some food? And she was just like, go away, nigga, go away. And she told him to go away, not because I think she actually wanted him to go away, but because she's used to this nigga not knowing how to comfort her outside of sex. He doesn't know how to hold her, let her cry on his shoulder, rock her back and forth and shit. Like every time she was upset, he just used sex to make her feel better. Like literally. And I'm wondering what that's about. Like, why are we just using sex? Like, why is sex the coping skill, love? Like, I know you didn't have a lot of people in your life teaching you how to cry and shit and take care of your emotions. But usually when sex is the coping skill, there was no hint of him being a molested in this movie. But that is a big sign to say, like, something may have happened to create this thing inside of him to say, sex is how I make people feel better. So I don't know what happened, but therapy, yes. And so, like, because she keeps telling him to go away, he's just like, well, can I get your car keys? And then because he's also probably traumatized from this and he wants to feel better, he goes to his other baby mama's house and gets some food and some vagina from her. Where have we heard that before? I'm not even going to go there. He went to his baby mama's house to get some food and some vagina, and so he can soothe his wounds and his traumatization from his other baby mama having an abortion. And I just am like, are we just going to keep using sex and food, like the concrete, tangible, touchable things to feel better? Like, is that all we're never going to sit? No, because he never learned. No one ever taught him. You have to teach children their emotions. You have to teach them the names of their emotions, or they won't know the names of their emotions. They'll just feel guilty, but not know that the feeling is guilt, but just know that they feel uncomfortable. And then what happens with children is that they will channel all those uncomfortable feelings into anger. And they will lash out and do weird shit or use sex or tangible things that they can touch, eat, smell to feel better. It's like when you have an autistic kid that's nonverbal and they can't verbalize, so they get aggressive and they really want to tell you something, but you don't understand them, so they get frustrated and then they start breaking shit. Like, it's like that. Like, kids especially get violent when they can't communicate how they feel. They get violent or they pour it into drugs, sex, things like that, things that are tangible, right? So no one's ever told him what his emotions are. No one's ever sat with him and let him talk about his feelings like that. So he doesn't know how to communicate. So all he can do is feel a feeling that feels challenging and then say, well, sex usually works. I'm going to go get some vagina from this bitch because she didn't just have an abortion. I know. And I was just like, nigga. It's so sad. And the thing is, it's like, I read this meme the other day and it was like, if you use your trauma as an excuse to hurt people, then I don't give a fuck about your trauma. And I was so like, yes, because you just turned into an abuser. Like, you turned into the person that it just spread to you like a cancer because you didn't want to do anything about it. And so now you're just spreading it to other people. Like, I don't give a fuck about his trauma. I'm just telling you what happened to make him this way. So, because he's not processing it. So if maybe somebody out there resonates with you, you could be like, I use sex to feel better instead of communicating. I get challenging emotions and then I can't name my emotions. I use women as emotional support animals. I was talking to a client about that too. I use women as emotional support animals to feel better, but I don't really give a fuck if they're hurting because I don't know how to relate to other people's pain. I can just only think about my own pain and try to make that stop. Basically what these niggas do when they're toxic or manipulative like Jody, you know, is that they will use women as their emotional support animals. And we are just here to soothe your troubled soul when you get upset or overwhelmed, and to give you some decent, peaceful times when we cook for you, or we give you vagina, or we go out on outings with you to make you feel better. But when it's time for us to get care and concern, they have no idea what the fuck to do outside of fucking you. So if it's not a situation where they can fuck you, that's why Jody left. Because if it was another situation, just like when he hit her in the face and ate her out, like he would have just had sex with her to make her feel better. But I can't have sex with you to make you feel better. So then he tried food, another tangible item that might make her like a fucking child. Then he tried food, another tangible item, to see if that might help. And she was just like, nigga, I don't want food. I don't want to fuck. I just want a fucking hug. I just want you to wrap your whole body around me and cocoon me in it so I can cry. But you can't handle my tears and my crying and me being upset. That's why when he ate her out, he left afterwards, because she was still crying. I was mad this week. I don't, they hate us. Like, I think I said this in another video too. You know that show Yo Gabba Gabba? You remember the dude that was on Yo Gabba Gabba, that black dude, right? That was like 2010, 2011, 2012, a while ago, right? So, of course, because it's been a while, they changed that dude up to this little teenage black girl, dark-skinned teenage black girl, right? And I was like, I seen the video go past my timeline. I was like, oh, this is just she's so cute. Okay, yeah. And then I go to the comments, y'all. Wyatt was most of the comments like, we missed the other guy. Love, the other guy was on there like maybe 6-7 years ago, maybe even 10. I don't know. He didn't want to keep doing that for the rest of his life. That's why they kept changing up the nigga from Blue's Clues, because them niggas don't want to do that for the rest of their lives, especially if they're into acting and stuff and they want to have range and things like that, or if they're just fucking tired of jumping around and being out. Because kid shows, you got to be athletic. Remember Pee Wee Herman, how he was jumping and off of shit, and that's athleticism. You know how many takes it takes to get the perfect take? And they was jumping off and flipping and doing random shit for like one take probably took an hour. I don't fucking know. The nigga is tired. Why are you on this little teenager's page telling her that you missed the other nigga? Like, the nigga was done. Like, why do you hate us? Oh, God. I'm never gonna have a husband. Like, why can't I like others? Why do I only like black men? I hate this. No, I feel trapped, and it's like, this isn't a choice. This is like, nothing makes me feel as good as being around my own people. Like, it doesn't. And I don't want to be in something that's less than, that's not enough for me, because that's not fair to the other person. I'm not about to sit up here and traumatize a nigga. Like, for what? Because I don't fully love you. Like, I don't fully love you, honey. Like, I don't. I just did this for the baby. To have a baby. And that's not right. That's not right. This is gonna be a long time. No, because I'm too opinionated, and I'm not gonna sit up here and play face and cater to your weak mindedness and shit like that. If I see some bullshit, I'm gonna call it out. I'm gonna make you be a better person. It'll make you be a better fucking person and care about people. And niggas don't like that. Niggas don't like to take accountability and responsibility for their behaviors. Like, a lot of them don't. And that's why they're crashing out right now, because a lot of them don't want to take accountability for their shit and how they've been treating women and children and people in the world and shit, because you keep falling into your trauma and trying to find these tangible things to feel better, instead of like going really deep inside and checking yourself and crying and feeling the feelings and stuff. So yeah. So anyways, he leaves her, goes to his girl's house, fucks her. Grandma for the little baby girl is just sitting in the kitchen shaking her head and all this stuff. Then he goes off and, he lives at home with his mom. Mom has like this new boyfriend and stuff. Is being Rames and shit. I don't know if that's a viable relationship because the new boyfriend, he has a record. He has a history of beating his ex. And then, like, if you push him too far, the crash out is immense. He starts beating niggas down like he did Jody instead of walking away. So and it was a short limit. Like, all he had to do was say some stuff real quick, and then you almost killing niggas. And so I'm just wondering, what does she have to do to trigger you enough for you to snap? And if you snap, you gonna snap on her, or you gonna walk out. You gonna walk out the house and leave. Because I need you to walk out the house and leave if you feel like you're gonna do some shit like that. I need that to be your edge. Your edge needs to be like, push somebody over the edge. I need your push over the edge to be, you just leave. You just leave. And then what if she's like Yvette and doesn't want you to leave? Like, can you still control yourself enough to just gently pick her up and move her from the door and walk out the house? Or like, you're gonna beat her ass because that's what you're used to. I don't know. Like, it's saying like I got some shit going on. Still. So I'm not going to say that that's a good relationship. I'm just going to say that, it seemed decent for what it was. Jody can clock this nigga because like recognizes like. That's why I always say, because people be like, oh, why would I take advice from you? You ain't got a man. You in a fucked up relationship. I take advice from everybody, especially people that are in fucked up situations, because I've been in a fucked up situation. And I knew logically that how to get out of it. But when you're in fucked up situations, what happens is you're constantly being traumatized, and it just feels like there's a brick wall between your logical side and your emotional side. And you just can't get past that brick wall. The emotional side is winning all the time. Like, your stomach hurts, you can't breathe. When you think about leaving this nigga, you start having a panic attack. And then when you go and you fuck this nigga, like, immediately your stomach stops hurting and everything feels better. And it's less like, this makes me feel better. Even though he's causing the pain, he does make the pain go away quicker than if I just left. And so that's what you consciously and or subconsciously think. And so that's why it's so difficult. It's brainwashing. It's literally a mini cult. When you're in an abusive relationship, you're in a mini cult. If Jim Jones could make 600 people, mostly black folks, because black folks don't join cults. What I learned is that the reason why Jim Jones was able to get them black people to join the cult is because first he bait and switched them by putting stuff into their community like the Black Panthers did, like free breakfasts and schooling for the children and community gatherings and shit. He went in the community and bamboozled them first. You gotta bamboozle us first. White folks, like Manson, he was just picking niggas up off the side of the road and giving them LSD and being like, let's be free. White folks are easy to bamboozle. Black people, you gotta do some shit. You gotta give us some stuff. You gotta make us think that you want change in the world. If this one man could come into this motherfucking community of superstitious people and make them drink Kool-Aid and kill themselves, what do you think one nigga that's just as manipulative as that will do to one bitch? Like, it boggles the mind when you think about, like, people talking about, well, why didn't she leave? Why didn't Hallie leave? Why didn't, leave? Because she was brainwashed into thinking that this behavior was okay. And it takes a lot to undo brainwashing. That's why people have to go to therapy. Literally, EMDR and other somatic interventions are brainwash reversal interventions. It reverses the brainwashing that has been done to you by toxic people and abusive people. And if you don't do that work in that way, it's going to be a lot harder to undo the brainwashing that the person has done and to actually leave the relationship. So, she's gonna, these women, they're showing these women being in like little mini cults with these niggas that are trifling and fucked up. He has a harem of bitches. And she don't, at first I was just like, is she really okay with him cheating on her? Because she's just like, oh, I know you cheat on me with your other baby mama and da 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 da. And I'm just like, are they, is this early polyamory? Polyamory was there before they had a name for it, but No, she don't want this nigga to cheat. She's just accepting it. She's just accepting it because this is the best that she can do. That's what she thinks. She thinks this is the best that she could do. Girl, you are a go-getter. You have a job. He doesn't have a job. Like literally I can see her going to college, meeting some fine ass nigga, taking care of her, and he got money and he's kind to her and they go off into the fucking sunset. But because she hasn't had much encouragement. We don't get a lot of background on her parents and things like that and how she was raised. But obviously, she wasn't raised well enough to have a lot of self worth and shit. She's always flinching at niggas and shit. Like somewhere somebody beat on her or did some shit to her because she acted. Taraji acted this part as a very timid woman. Yes, she yelled and got up in niggas' face, but as soon as they, she was like, she was doing all that, and I was just like, did some shit happen to you to create these behaviors? Because people aren't born flinching. No, you got to look at the behaviors that are not something that is natural, but something that is learned, because people are not born flinching. People are not born using sex as a coping skill. And so when you see those things, you got to be like, people are born breathing. So, if you're breathing, I'm like, oh, everybody breathes. But when you see those things that are obviously taught, you got to be like, something happened here. I'm not going to say it out loud unless, like, I know you like that. Like, you my homie. We've been homies since forever and shit. And I'd be like, girl, you really like sex. And when you get upset, you really, really like sex. And I'm wondering, like, are you good? Like, if you good, then I'm good. But like, it just seems like excessive, like really excessive. And then, you should, like, when you need to feel better from sad emotions, that shouldn't be your only coping skill. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's okay to be sexually free, but you got to know when something's excessive and we're just doing this to cover up some other shit, or else you're going to bury yourself with that shit and something bad's going to happen. And so, she in this relationship, in this little mini cult, mad at this nigga all the time, but just dealing with it and dealing with it and dealing with it. And I'm just like, girl, you got other options. You just don't see it. And you don't have the resources to see it. Social media brought us those resources. And that's why I can't never be mad at social media. We would not have had the mass exiting of Black women divesting from these toxic niggas without social media. Like, because we're all talking to each other. We're all posting videos. We're all interacting. And that's why they want to take it from us. That's why, because it's not just Black women. It's all the women's, like, and we're all talking to each other and we're figuring it out that this is a game. This is not just a game like we thought in the 90s where niggas just wanted to have bitches and fuck as many as possible and play a bitch against each other and do all this other stuff. This is a game where you want to humble me. You want to take away my happiness. You want everything about me to be directed at you. You don't want me to direct any of that at myself or at other people or at hobbies or a career or anything like that. You want all of me to be directed at you. And you know what? I don't know. That's toxic. Like, you fell in love with me and my personality because I was pouring into myself and the things that I enjoy. And now you're trying to come into my life and you only want me to pour all those things into you? Like, I'm not going to do that. I wouldn't expect you to do that. I didn't fall in love with you just for you to be clinging on to me and shit, and you don't got no other fucking shit out in the world to do. Like, it's nice to be up under each other, but like, you need to have hobbies and friends and shit to do. Like, I like my alone time. You should like your alone time too. That don't mean we got to spend days apart from each other, but like, if I want to go to the beach for an hour and just sit and relax and shit by myself in the car, like, why you got to come with me? I'll be back in an hour. Like, why do you have to come with me, sir? Like, I don't go with you when you playing basketball with your homies and shit. Like, why do you have to come with me when I need to sit by myself? Or I want to go to the movies by myself. I'll be back in a couple hours. Like, nigga, what? Like, it's about excess and balance. Are we excessive with the behavior or are we balanced with the behavior? Sometimes we can be all up on each other for days at a time. And then other times I'm gonna need like a few hours. Like, what? You ain't got friends? Like, I'm not the bitch that'll be mad at a nigga for hanging out with his friends unless you give me even the slightest reason to believe that you're cheating. And I be telling y'all, like, I'm a gullible bitch. Like, when I feel safe in a situation, I don't even consider that you would hurt me. And that's a flaw. Only if I'm with the wrong person. Like, that's my natural state. Like, my neurodivergency makes me very gullible, and I will believe everything you tell me until something doesn't add up. Routine changes. There's a hitch in your voice when you're talking. And I'm not looking for these things because they'll show themselves to me eventually. So I'm not the bitch that's gonna be like, oh my gosh, you're going and you're gonna be on a work trip for 2 weeks and I'm just gonna be by myself. No, I'm be like, okay, well, you have fun and shit, nigga. Like, I don't know, like, I'm gonna take pictures and eat snacks and watch movies and be over here. Like, oh my gosh, you went and hung out with your homies this on a Friday night and shit. Like, I don't care. Like, you have friends. That's good. I'm glad you have. I'm gonna go to and watch a movie at the movie theaters. Then you have a good time. I don't care. Like, as long as it's not excessive. Like, okay, you hanging out with your niggas every fucking night. Like, we can't have a night together. Like, what's going on? Like, it's one thing to do it every once a week or some shit. Like, why you gotta hang out with your niggas every night? Like, what's okay? Now this is suspicious. You don't want to spend a night with me at all, ever. Like, okay, this is suspicious. So, you just clock these behaviors and you just catalog them. That's what I do. I just catalog them. And I don't say nothing till a pattern develops. And then when a pattern develops, like 2 or 3 times you've done this, that's when I'm going to say something. I'll be like, you know what? I don't like this. What is this? Why you need to go out every night with these niggas? What is this? It's bothering me. What's going on? See, that's why, like, these weak-minded ass niggas, these fucking Jodies out here, they can't handle me. They can't, because I will strip you naked and see everything. I see every fucking thing. I might be in a gullible state, but as soon as you start switching up, nigga, I see it. Like, I see it. If I believe you going out with your friends and shit like that, I'll believe it. But as soon as I see a switch up, a change in something, I will be on that shit. And then now I have to be observant. And I don't want to be observant because when I'm observant, I don't feel safe. I don't want to be in la la land. You're here, you're protecting me and shit. And then, like, I'll protect you and listen to your problems and whatever the fuck. But, like, for myself, I don't want to be in la la land. I don't be thinking about much. I just want to, like, you're protecting me. Like, you think about too much. Like, you're doing it. You're doing the thinking. So, we got these trash ass fucking relationships on here. And she's just caught up in it. And I just feel so bad for Yvette. I feel bad for Yvette. I feel bad for all the baby mamas. I feel bad for, all the women on the show, on the movie. Because I'm just like, Yvette over here trying to keep this relationship together, right? He going back and forth from her house, he like drops her off at work and picks her up and shit like that. I promise you, that was not a widespread thing that we knew about until this movie, because I never saw that. The adults around me didn't talk about niggas doing stuff like that, but as soon as what happened, that's when I started hearing conversations from the adults around me about, oh, niggas be doing shit like that. Wow. They really be out here just don't want to get their own car and drive and anything and don't want to get a job. And so he takes her car for like a whole weekend, have her up in the house all weekend with her child, nowhere to go. I mean, yeah, she could take the bus and shit like that, but why should I have to if I have a car? Like, that's what I mean when I say don't get with niggas with no money. It's precarious because if they don't have a consistent career, money, things like that, that affects them emotionally. It affects a lot of them emotionally, and they're more likely to be an op. just like DDG, more likely to be an op, more likely to hate you, hate everything you stand for, want to take everything from you because they're children inside. The age you first experience trauma is the age you stay. And if you go through a whole childhood without anyone acknowledging that you have emotions outside of happy or sad or angry, then what happens is that creates a trauma response inside of you too, because you never learn you start to develop these maladaptive coping skills around your, challenging emotions. And that's basically a trauma response because you can't cope. Trauma is just anything that stops your ability to cope effectively in challenging situations. So anytime you're triggered, you can't cope. That's trauma. And so if you don't, if you're not aware of your emotions, just like in the last movie, Forever, where the little boy didn't know who he was because he hadn't developed emotions outside of whatever his mom wanted. He wasn't able to cope. Yeah, his dad was there and he encouraged him communicating and things like that, but he still didn't know who he was. There was still a lack of development of certain emotions because he was too scared to voice certain things because his mom would be crashing out and doing all this weird shit, right? So you still are traumatized even though you weren't like consciously actively abused. It's still, your environment still created an almost abusive response inside of you, inside of your nervous system and shit, right? So he's out here not able to understand his emotions, understand how he's affecting the women around him. He's taking her car and like you can see it even. I'm gonna jump all over, like it'll make sense. You see it even when he's in the garden with his mom and he gets mad because so basically him and Yvette get into this argument, right? And like they get in a lot of arguments, but this time he slaps her in the face because she be hitting him and shit, right? And he got tired of it. He turned around and he slapped her in the face. No, we don't need to be hitting each other and shit like that. But he started it. He started it because he's wishy-washy. I truly don't think Yvette was a bitch that hit niggas until she was driven to that edge. And because she doesn't have help and therapy and things to help her work through this shit, that's her edge. She hits niggas. She needs to go to therapy. Don't hit people. But do we turn around as a nigga that's taller than this bitch with muscles? I don't even know why he has muscles in this movie because like he wasn't working out in this movie. This is an action movie. Like maybe he was working on the first Fast and the Furious. At the same time, I don't fucking know. But I was like, everybody in this bitch had muscles. Ving Rhames, the mama had muscles. I was just like, they just be out here working. I mean, they were nice to look at. I'm not saying they weren't nice to look at, but you bigger than this bitch and you turn around and slap her in the fucking face and knock her on the ground and shit, right? And I'm just like, if the next thought is to hurt me, then maybe you should walk out. She's smaller than you. Pick her up, put her to the side, and walk out that motherfucker and leave. That's all you got to do. Especially if they're not as big as you. Just pick them up, move them to the side, and walk out that bitch. Don't turn around and be somebody bigger than somebody and knock them in the face. Like, it's not it. And so, she's like traumatized and shit like that. And because he said he would never hit her, so she's crying. So the only way he knows how to comfort her is to eat her out. It doesn't work this time because basically when you cause pain and then you attach sex to the pain, what can happen is the orgasm can become your coping skill whenever you're in pain, or you reacted like she did and she dissociated and felt sexually assaulted. No, she saw her life flash before her eyes, the happy part, the sad part, and then she laid there and after she nutted, because you can still nut and still be sexually assaulted. And I'm not saying that it wasn't consensual. It was a gray area. But her nervous system still acted like she was sexually assaulted. So, the reason I say that is because she dissociated afterwards, after she orgasmed. Like, that's just a physical bodily, like, that's why I said this nigga is in his bag, his psychological bag when he wrote this motherfucker. Because I was just like, did this nigga just write a fucking movie about a bitch getting sexually assaulted and then you can see the trauma happening in real time? I was just like, oh, I didn't know what I was watching when I was what? Oh, how was I? Like 12, 11, 12, maybe like 14. I don't know. But I was just like, nigga, wait a minute. And so she has this life flashes before her eyes, all the good parts and then all the bad parts and then him dying and shit like that. And she just like dissociates after she orgasms and she's still crying and she grabs a pillow and holds herself. And I was just like, that's the gray area, because it's like, was she sexually assaulted? Like, was that sexual assault? Like, because the way she reacted like somebody that was sexually assaulted. And I was just like, are those the gray areas that you overlook sometimes because you love somebody? And they may have sexually assaulted you, but you just say, fuck it, because you love them. And then because you had an orgasm, you talk yourself into acting like it's fine. And that's why it's hard for women to report sexual assault, because we don't want it to be rape as much as you don't want it to be rape, love. Like, unless you're into raping bitches on purpose. Like, I'm talking about times like this when you're not actively going into this trying to assault somebody, but because this person is crying and screaming and telling you to put them down, it turns into sexual assault. So I'm just like, this is why people don't report this shit, because it can get so murky, and we don't want it to be sexual assault as much as you don't. So a lot of times we will follow the brainwashing pavement, and a lot of people end up dating the person that sexually assaulted them. This happens a lot. They end up going back and asking for sex, like Cassie said in her testimony and shit like that, asking for sex and things like that, because you're so caught up in it that you don't want to, because you love this person. This person has made you love them. And it's brainwashing and stuff. And so the thought of turning them in or accusing them of raping you and things like that just is like, I don't want to cause pain to this person that I love, even though they caused me pain. It's just an extension of physical abuse. He hit me and I have a black eye, but he didn't mean to. Why can we see that with physical abuse, but we can't see that with sexual abuse? Like, we can see that this bitch is brainwashed when she's talking about she ran into a door 15 times a day and shit. But like, we're just looking at her like, girl, your eye is all fucked up. No, I ran into a door. Like, okay, you run into a door once a month? Like, what? And we could just tilt our head and be like, girl, you're brainwashed. But like, when it comes to sexual abuse, we're like, girl, you went back and you let him put his dick in you. So no, it's the same thing as if the bitch that ran into the door. We're brainwashed and we believe that this person is inherently good, even though they're showing us that they're not. We see their inner child and we're just like, I can reach the little baby inside of you. I can, even though you're raping me and I'm still going to try to reach the little baby, because sometimes you're nice to me and I see that little baby inside of you. And I just want to know, girl, mental health is just like exercising. You have to individually want to do it. Like, no one's going to make you exercise. You can have an exercise buddy, but nobody's going to exercise for you. Mental health involves consistent exercising of your mind and of your emotions, and checking in with yourself and doing your coping skills and validating when you feel overwhelmed and upset, and doing nice things for yourself when you feel overwhelmed and upset, instead of crashing out and blowing niggas up and shit. Like, girl, all last week I was just like upset. I'm still upset. But instead of crashing out and like, seeing a nigga at the top of the stairs and wanting to push them down the stairs and be like, that's for us, that's for women, bitch. I was just like, girl, you don't know this nigga. Like, he could be the nicest person in the world. It is not your job to take people's lives or to harm people. Like, that is not your place. You need to get your shit together. You're just sad and you're upset. And so let's go to Disneyland. Yes, God, yes. And then so we still have the emotion and we don't shame ourselves for the emotion. We just choose to do something healthier to deal with the emotion instead of something that will end us up in jail. And that's all it is. Like, no one's telling you not to feel hurt, nigga. Like, no one's telling you to push that shit down. We're actually telling you to face it. It's so scary to face yourself. And so, like, that's what I do. Like, I work on my shit. And so this nigga isn't able to do that work, right? He's not able to do that work. And so, is this a situation where she was sexually assaulted for real, for real? Is this a situation where she wasn't sexually assaulted, but like she still dissociated? I feel like she was sexually assaulted because you don't dissociate. It's one of them situations where it's like a gray area. Like I said, we don't want it to be rape just as much as you don't. That's why it takes 20 years for bitches to report. But the thing is, our nervous system knows that it was rape. And so what happens is we're constantly being triggered. We're constantly depressed for weeks at a time and don't know why. We're constantly anxious. We're constantly having panic attacks. We're constantly like, some of us either are hypersexualized or don't want to be touched at all. And then after 20 years of that, you get tired. You get fucking tired of trying to save this nigga. And then you start thinking about what it would look like to save yourself. Because I can't live another 20 years feeling like I'm dying inside and I don't know why. And then you go to therapy and you realize, yep, that was sexual assault. I was raped. Well, what do I want to do about it now? And some people decide to never tell, but just come to terms with it within themselves. And then some people were like, fuck this nigga, he don't deserve shit. And then they want revenge, as they should have revenge. And they take these motherfuckers for everything they got because they still out here doing it anyways. And so, that's why they wait 20 years a lot of the times, just because we don't want you to be in trouble. We love you. We love you even in your toxicity. We fucking love you. And we're tired of loving you. We're tired of loving you and not being loved in return. And so a lot of us are divesting and saying, fuck this shit, fuck niggas. I have not fully divested. I believe in the God that moves mountains. And if my God can move mountains, he can send me the perfect husband for me. He's black and rich and, nice and kind and, just a great person and likes to do fun things and watch anime and go on adventures and, take naps and eat good food. Like I believe in a God that moves mountains, created multiverses and shit like that. I feel like if he can do all of that, sending me my husband ain't shit. I just have to be ready. I feel like it's me. I have to be ready for when he sends that. So I'm just preparing myself, preparing a place for the nigga that's supposed to be mine. But a lot of us have given up. A lot of us, like I have clients that be like, I don't even want to be in a relationship. I don't even want to be responsible for a man and his emotions and all this other stuff. And I'm just sitting here like, you're going off of experiences with toxic men. You've never experienced somebody that will show up for you. Now, if you tell me that you've experienced somebody that shows up for you, was Prince Charming, was everything, and still I don't feel like being around people and niggas in my space and shit like that, that's valid. Like, it is some people don't like to socialize and shit like that. I can't judge that. Like, that's not a bad thing. It is just who you are. You ain't depressed. You ain't anxious. You ain't trying to kill yourself over it. You happy. Like, do you, boo. But some of us are out here thinking that every relationship is going to end up being trash and you don't have to be taking care of some man-child. And so why even do it? Listen, I challenge you to say that that's objectification. And that's some nigga shit. That's what niggas do to us. And I refuse to objectify these niggas. I'm not going to sit up here and be like, every nigga is like this, so why even try? No, fuck all that. No, because then I'm like them niggas and I refuse. Then I'm being controlled. My emotions and my thought patterns are being controlled by these niggas and I refuse to be controlled. No, I'm going to believe that there's decent, because everyone's an individual, there's decent men out there. But like, that's why a lot of us are divesting though. A lot of us are tired and I can't judge you, even if it is based off trauma. I'm not going to judge you. Like, it is what it is. Like, people, just like some people can't fight through their mental health and get out of poverty or fight through the system and get out of the situations that they're in. They just can't fight. It's not in them to fight. Ain't a lot of people trying to fight for these niggas no more. Like, you out here not fighting for yourselves. You turning your own women against you. You hate us. You want to beat us, kill us, steal from us, steal our magic, like eat us, like stab us in the chest. Like, you like you hate us. And like, A lot of bitches ain't checking for you niggas anymore, and it is what it is. Even white bitches ain't like your preference doesn't even like you. There are threads of white women that have had mixed children that are going on and on about how they have been left and abandoned by these black men. There are TikToks that are dedicated to these white women talking about how they've been left and abandoned by these black men because objectification and colorism is not good for the light or the dark. You are still an object. That means that if you step outside of the box that they put you in, if you get depressed, if you get sick, if you get cancer, if you have a baby, if you need him to wipe your ass, he will leave you. Because you are not the bitch he thought you were when he first got with you, because you have flaws, because you're human. And so it's good. It's just that when you're dark skinned, they're upfront with it and you can clock it real easy. When you're lighter or you're other, you don't see it until something happens to you. And a lot of the time, sometimes that you see it, they're upfront with it. But a lot of the times for the lighters and the others, like, they don't see this behavior until they're going through something and the nigga abandons them, whether it's emotionally or physically or both. They abandon them. And then it hurts even worse because they feel bait and switched and shit. I'd rather have it up front, love. Like, I'd rather, like, you're not about to get me in a happy place and they have me missing something. I don't want to be missing something when you're gone. Like, you got these lighter and other bitches missing when you used to take them out on dates and you used to rub their feet and you used to, you know, be all up under them and shit like that. Like, I don't want to miss that shit, nigga. I just want you to be gone. Like, get out of my face. Like, so, like, I don't have the energy. And so, you know, I don't know. I'm going to say it was sexual assault because she dissociated. But anyway, so he like sexually assaults her and shit like that. And so she leaves him for like a minute. She just stops talking to him. And he gets upset and all this other shit. And like earlier in the movie, I'm just skipping all over. I don't even know where I'm at. Earlier in the movie, the Trump supporter called her on the phone, right, from the jail. We know who the Trump supporter is. No, because I didn't unfollow anybody. I didn't unfollow Chrisette Michelle. I didn't unfollow Nelly. I didn't unfollow Snoop Dogg. But I clocked that the people that hate black women and unfollow Chrisette Michelle, nobody unfollowed these niggas. Nobody canceled these niggas. Nobody, they hate us. I saw Chrisette Michelle as just somebody that was trying to get some money, and her music wasn't popping off like she wanted it to at the time, and so she needed some money, and she did what she had to do. And was it right? Probably not. You know, it looks bad. But like, was it worth her not having a career anymore where she could be super famous and shit? Like, she's still out there singing and shit. I follow her. She be in hotel after hotel, going to places, touring and singing and shit. And good for her. I hope she get back on top. She deserves it. God bless her. But like, these niggas, girl, they hate us. Like, you gotta clock that a lot of these black men, cis black men, and some trans, because they sometimes when you go to the other side, whether you're trans, male, or even studs, oftentimes, especially when you've been traumatized, you feel like masculinity equals misogyny and shit, and you just act like the cis men too. And so I don't know what that is. You need to work through that, because you know, you were raised as women, you were socialized as women, and so you should know something better than going over to the other side and being a fucking asshole and shit. Like, you should be a better individual. But you know, people be traumatized and shit, so I can't even say nothing. But the niggas that are born men, cis men, and they socialized as cis men, and they out in the world doing shit like this, they still following that nigga. And they still following Nelly. That tells me what I need to know. And the thing is like, people think I'm negative and shit, and I just be noticing negative shit. And no, I notice patterns because I've been through stuff. And most of the time, I'm pretty happy go lucky. Like, I think people expect me to, like, in real life when I'm interacting with people because of the shit I post and stuff on Instagram about, saving the world and Amanda Seals type shit, but without the colorism. No, she's still, no. How you gonna be light skinned and then 4 black people, but then not clock that niggas are colorist? Okay, whatever, girl. But like, I think because I post shit like that, people think I'm gonna like start going off on them and cussing them out and being like all sorts of shit in real life and pro this and pro that and all extra, militant and all. I'm not. I just like to sit and read books, and sometimes I bring my Nintendo Switch and I play video games and at the park, and I like to, get a blanket, lay down, have my Nintendo Switch, have a book and my phone, maybe play a movie on my phone and have my Nintendo Switch and just be playing games or reading a book. I like to do like fun, happy-go-lucky, soft things. I'm a very soft person. When shit pisses me off, it pisses me off. And I'm going to point it out. I'm going to say something like, that was racist. Like, I will say that to your face. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't care how much money, because I don't want anything from you. Like, and that's why I think too, that's why people don't interact with me like that, because I don't want anything from you. So like, I don't think they know how to talk to me. Like, I'm not gonna ask you for anything. I'm not even gonna hype myself up. Like, if you give me a compliment on some shit I do, I'll be like, oh, thank you. But I'm not gonna be like, oh, look at the pictures from my trip, and because I don't care what you think. Like, I don't care what people think like that. I don't, because I spent most of my life caring what people think. I remember how it felt, and it's gross. Like, it's nice to get a compliment here and there. Like, it validates the shit I already feel about myself, because sometimes you just need to be reminded that other people see the greatness in you too. But like, I don't live for it. Like, I'm not, you got to know what's an extreme and what's a balance. Like, I'm not on any extreme. I'm pretty balanced. I'm pretty, maybe close to the other extreme, antisocial, not the sociopath, but just the word antisocial. Like, like, I don't care. Like, so I don't know. Like, people don't know how to approach me or some shit. I don't fucking know. I be out and about. I just be chilling. Like, am I supposed to approach people? Because I don't want to. Like, if you want to talk to me, that's great. But like, I'm not gonna actively, unless like you're doing something interesting. You're wearing an interesting thing, like, or you're watching anime and I like that anime and I'll be like, and I'll try to, but like, if it doesn't interest me, I'm not going to initiate conversation. I'm tired. I'm 38. I'm fucking tired. Tired of people like building up ideologies and storybooks about who they think I am in their head and treat me like that. Like, I'm tired. So I just don't feel like it. And so like you have a history of being, misogynistic and shit. Like, I'll be cordial to you, but like, I'm not gonna like I don't want nothing from you. Like, I'll be nice, but my goal is to escape this conversation immediately. I'm not gonna tell nobody else to not talk to you. Like, let's say I have a nigga and he just be clueless about people's intentions, right? And like, I'm gonna tell you one time, something's off about that motherfucker. I just keep an eye on him. I'm not gonna be like, oh, he's evil and you shouldn't be around him, and I'm just gonna be like, something's off about that motherfucker. You just watch him. You just watch him. And you can be like all sorts of, oh, you're so negative, but I haven't been wrong, not one time. When I've known there's been something off about somebody, have not been wrong once. So these are the things that you have to notice in these niggas, and she is not equipped to notice these things in these niggas. And so she just kind of stuck here in this situation with this man. And this leads into the Trump supporter. Because that's why I was talking about that. The Trump supporter, he called earlier, and apparently this is her ex, and she talks to him on the phone sometimes. We're just brainwashed by multiple niggas, multiple toxic niggas. And so basically, while she's not talking to this motherfucker, the Trump supporter shows up at her house. He just freshly out of jail and decides that he's going to move into her home. And because she's timid and she's been through shit, she just lets him walk in the door with her and her baby in there. And then one day, I don't know why she leaves her child with this man. I guess she had to go to work and it is what it is. I guess she thought that maybe he's not going to hurt the child. I don't know. So she leaves her child with this man while she goes to work, and then Jody comes and picks up her child and is pissed off that these niggas are there. And so she like he gets mad and then wants to act like he don't love her no more and all this other stupid shit. And I'm just like, nigga, these niggas, you didn't even try to talk to her. Like, you don't even know if these niggas were invited into her home. Like, they could be, this is a kidnapping situation. This is a hostage situation. And because you don't want to talk to her, like, she's stuck in this nigga with like a potential rapist and shit. And oh gosh. And that's why these toxic niggas are dangerous, because the bad situation for you could be a dangerous situation and you need this nigga to help you. And this nigga isn't going to help you. She almost got raped because this nigga didn't want to have a conversation about these motherfuckers in her house. Like, this was literally a hostage situation. I don't care if he was mad. Like, niggas are still mad about Keisha and forever. Like, she wasn't a fucking child and didn't have mental health issues and was traumatized by her fucking parents and shit. She did do him wrong. She was fucked up. But it's okay for him to forgive her because they're both children. And this is this is not a personality trait. This is not a pattern of behavior yet. This is quick thinking to figure out how to not make mom mad. Like you're like, you sitting up here mad at her, at these niggas in the house. How you know that she want these niggas in her house? There was like 4 niggas in there. She could have been gang raped after she came home from work, nigga. Like, I was scared for her. I was. And then this nigga actually tries to rape her in front of her fucking child. This movie taught me as a child that skinny niggas are strong. And it scared the shit out of me because it had never been a concept in my mind before that skinny niggas were that strong. I was just like, this nigga is strong. Oh no, these motherfuckers, they was sneaking up. They can sneak up on you and hurt you and shit. I was scared for her. And so, like, she goes so basically him and Ving Rhames get into it. Like, that nigga snaps because Jody calling him out in front of his mom and shit, because rightfully so. Okay, like I said, this is why I think she chooses niggas over him. So first they get into it because, like, the nigga's growing weed in the mom's garden, and the mom is trying to find herself in this love, and it's like, I need you to find yourself by yourself. You can find yourself with someone else, but I need you to find yourself by yourself, not with some nigga that used to beat bitches and shit. Like, right now, you should find yourself by yourself. But if you find yourself with this nigga and he never hits you a day in your life and he treats you great and he holds on to you and shit, then do you, boo? I don't know. I wish that for you, because especially if you choose to stay. But he was growing weed, and at first she thinks it's Jody, but it's not Jody. And she was just screaming and yelling, growing weed, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, it wasn't me. So they wait all day until Ving Rhames comes home. And then he says it was his, and the mom just kisses him on the mouth and like, it's okay. He's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Blah, blah, blah. I guess they're trying to show like a representation of taking accountability, but no, he used to hit bitches and shit. Fuck all this. Like, he changed his life around and da da da. No, he didn't. You see how he jumped on that motherfucker like a fucking rabid dog. Oh Lord, I would not want to cross that motherfucker in a dark alley. He's crazy. And like, you know, that he still got that dog in him, bitch. Like, you just need to trigger him enough. Don't bring that around me. Don't do it because I'm an opinionated bitch. I'll call you out on shit. I'll say stuff and not know that I said the thing that's gonna be my death note, the nail in my motherfucking coffin. Because I made up in my head that you would never hit me. You would never be violent with me. Like, no, nigga. Like, any nigga's capable of it at this point. Like, so, like, the weed situation happens, and the mom chooses this nigga over whatchamacallit. And they yelling at each other, and then this nigga tackle and start beating the shit out this little nigga. I And the fucking thing is, they're the same height. Like, I looked it up. Bing Rames is like 5'10". He's like an inch taller than me. Just like The Rock. They be making these niggas that aren't like 6'5" look 6'5". And I'm just like, y'all taking tall nigga pictures and shit, huh? Like, these niggas are not the height that they represent. They just got the swag to pretend like they are. And it is what it is. So, anyways, he beat this little nigga ass, and then she chooses Bing Rames over her son. I know you want him out the house, love, but first you got to reconcile that you made this creature, and you need to figure out a way to like work with that instead of like continuously telling him he needs to leave. Like, that's the only thing, the only communication situation that we're doing here. Like, you need to be a man. You need to leave. Like, we need to be doing more than that, love. Like, he keeps saying that, like, he doesn't want to leave and that you're going to kick him out. You're going to kick him out. That's something's wrong there. Why do you keep saying that? Like, you sound anxious about it. Like, let's have a conversation, but we're not doing that. We're just saying, well, you're a grown man. You're not a baby. You need to leave. Like, okay, but his nervous system is still a baby. So we got to go slow with it. So you choose this nigga that used to beat bitches over your son, and this nigga takes his little bike and he leaves. He's riding a fucking bike. No, he lives in Southern California. Like, you need to have a car, and if you don't have a car, like, there's buses, Ubers. Like, there weren't Ubers back then. Let me shut up. There's buses. I think they had built the subway system by then. I don't know. It's fine that he's on a bike. It just adds to the infantilization. Like, you riding a bike around the neighborhood with little 12-year-olds and shit. Like, I don't understand. Like, if it was just that, like, oh, you're the coach of the little soccer league in the neighborhood or something, like that would be cute. Like, oh, look, he cares about the kids. But no, it just adds to the infantilization. Like, why are we hanging out riding bikes with 12-year-olds and shit and not getting a fucking job? Like, priorities, nigga. Like, oh Lord. So he rides his bike out of there and then goes and stays at his friend's house, right? And like, his friend has decided he wants to go back to church because he's tired of feeling like a child. And I'm just like, church is great. Therapy is better. You can find a Christian therapist. Like, you need to work through whatever it is that makes you so aggressive when you get even slightly triggered. Like, he tried to sell a dress to a bitch on the street because this nigga was selling dresses $40. Like, he was selling dresses and shit. He was a booster. That was his new job, and he was so proud of it. And I was just like, love, boosting is like a side hustle that you do. It's not like a full-time job. Like, you don't have benefits or not. Like, so what if you got shot? Like, girl, that's not a full-time. He was so proud of it though. I guess baby steps. But when you got 2 kids and 2 baby mamas and shit, like, I need the baby step to be like a full crawl. Like, I need or not a baby step. I need the baby step to be a full walk. I need to see you striding. Long strides towards a career. Like, you over here proud of selling fucking stolen things. Like, I knew people that worked at the docks that would like get shit off the boats and sell it and shit, nigga. Like, but that wasn't their full-time job. That was just some shit to make extra money on the side. Like, why? So he had his friend out there trying to sell this dress. And the nigga is just so aggressive. The girl just wanted to know what type of fabric it was. Why are you asking me all these questions? Like, something happened to him. And every little slight twinge, he can't keep it together, and he gets aggressive. He needs help. But like, this nigga is staying at his house. He thinks church is gonna do it. Maybe some of it. Church will do some of it. And basically, the Trump supporter pulls up. Like, because he is. He was proud of it and everything. Like, that's what he is. What's the problem? The things that come out of the person's mouth is not slander. It is what it is. You are a Trump supporter. Like, that's who you voted for, you said. And you went to the event and did the rapping and the stuff. So what? So the Trump supporter steals Yvette's car, and he gonna shoot this nigga after trying to rape Yvette in her home. But I guess he had a modicum of scruples because she was just like, "You gonna rape me in front of my child?" And he just looked at the little baby and then looked at her and then got up and left. And I was like, okay. And then she tells him da 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 da, and then a nigga steals her keys and takes her car because she. I don't know why. Okay, why are you sending her back to the house with the violent nigga by herself this time? He only stopped because her son was there the last time. Why are you sending her back to the house with the violent nigga by herself? Because you were too scared to go with girl. These niggas will put you in danger. Like I just these niggas will put you in danger, love. Like I don't know what to tell you. He could have just tried to follow through with the raping and shit. Like he could have killed her. Anything could have. You sent her back to that, and then he's a coward, and it is what it is. The infantilized coward, and it is what it is. This is such a commentary because these niggas will leave you out here helpless and scared. And if they do fight for you, if the manipulative ones do fight for you, that's just because they either wanted to be seen or they just needed to get some steam off. That's it. But any other time, they're just gonna allow shit to happen. And so, like, they roll up on him and start shooting and miss and stuff, and he's life flashed before his eyes. So him and the homie decided they gonna go and they gonna shoot them and shit. But then, of course, he couldn't do the killing blow. Like, we gonna be a man or not? Like, this nigga is gonna come after you. He had to die. Like, this is street rules. This is the hood. Don't do that. This is the fucking hood. There's still rules to this. This nigga would have came after him with his people. And I'm not surprised that the people didn't come after him. They had to have known who it was. Like, or maybe the nigga had a lot of enemies. Let me shut up. He might have had a lot of enemies, and so we don't know who it was. Okay, I'm gonna go with that because them niggas didn't come after him, and that's usually what would have happened with killers. He realized he wasn't a killer. That he's a coward. And then Ving Rhames comes in the room while he's throwing shit around the desk and crying. I mean, it's just trauma. He's more traumatized. At this point, after the way you treated all these women and used them as emotional support animals to soothe your wounds, and you couldn't comfort them properly, and you only comforted them with sex, which you still got something from. So it wasn't really comforting them because you got off too and shit. Like... It just feels like this is just another added piece too. This nigga's a fucking coward. I don't care. I don't care. He's a coward, and I don't care what's happened to him in his life because he hurts people. And he's one of them sad boy fuck boys that uses their trauma to make other people like do things for him. So we're not gonna sit up here and be like, oh no, he doesn't know how to emote. He doesn't know how to emote. So this whole like situation where he decides to move out of his mama's house and move in with Yvette, and then they had a little fake ass happy ending. I just feel like in my spirit, like he like there was a situation, right, where he fucked or her coworker wanted to fuck him, right? And so he went over to her house, right? She sucked his dick, but then he kept saying, this is foul, you're her coworker, she's gonna be mad at me and shit like that. And I was just like, but then you admit to fucking the bitches that you sell dresses to, and you admit to fucking your baby mama, and you admit to fucking randoms and shit sometimes, and you admit to not knowing why you do it, probably because you was molested or some shit. I don't know. God bless. But this is foul because she sees her at work and shit, right? I just feel like this is a small area. She could run into any of them bitches you fucked anywhere. One of them bitches could work with her and you don't even know it. But like, I feel like it wasn't even about it being foul. I feel like it was because it wasn't on your terms. It was because this bitch chased you. This bitch was in control. And you didn't like that. They hate it when you in control. Like, yeah, she was doing it to get back at the bitch, but who cares? I think it was because this wasn't on your terms. You weren't in control. And so you were just like, no, I'm not going to fuck this bitch because it's foul. This is wrong. But you let her put her lips on your dick. And like, I think you at least got the head in. And so I just feel like this wasn't about Yvette. It was about you not being able to orchestrate this yourself. Like, that's all this was. And so that happy ending was fucking fake. This nigga is still traumatized. There was no mention of him having an actual real job. Um, and I feel like the happy ending was just a representation of the cycle of abuse honeymoon period. They're all having a honeymoon period. Even his mom is having a honeymoon period because, like I said, if this nigga could snap on him like that and hold him to the ground and choke him out, she is just waiting to trigger him enough or him to be triggered by something enough in his environment to take it out on her. He is not fucking healed enough to be in a relationship with this little itty bitty bitch that he can snap in half like a fucking twig. I don't care what you talk. So the happy ending that we saw was just a cycle of abuse honeymoon period. I don't care what you're talking about. There was not enough therapy. And then she's bringing another baby into the world. It's toxic. It was toxica, and I hate it. And I just feel like, now we gotta sit up here in the real world with these niggas that hate us, and like I don't know what to tell you. Be soft, be gentle with yourself, and then set firm boundaries because these motherfuckers will drive you crazy. I really feel like she shouldn't have been hitting that nigga, but at the same time, when these niggas drive you to a certain place mentally, you don't recognize your motherfucking self. You got bitches that were like nice, genteel, loving creatures out here popping tires, scratching up niggas' cars and shit. Like, wouldn't have hurt a fly before they ever met this nigga. Like, no, you changing bitches into things that they never were, driving bitches crazy. And then so I can't 100% just be like, oh no, she's horrible and she abused him too. And girl, like, did you see how he was treating her? He left her in the house the whole fucking weekend. And the way the house was messy and it was just her in it by herself, this nigga didn't come over and visit, do nothing. She was depressed. That was a depression mess, love. And then he comes and fucks her, and that's enough. That's enough. And then he leaves. Like, he shut her up with his penis, and then no, and then she made him tacos. So we give the food, the vagina, and then we leave. Like, nigga, this is a pattern that I'm seeing now. Like, don't give niggas food and vagina if they're not showing up for you. Because that's all they want. That's all, they just want food and vagina, love. Like, they want to mule you, bitch. If you're noticing that's the only interactions that you're having with these niggas when they're around is food and vagina and maybe some drugs, some alcohol, some marijuana. Like, that's a problem. That's anytime you feel sad or upset, they're sticking their penis in you instead of like trying to listen to your problems and, comfort you and hold you and shit. Like, that's a problem, love. Like, that's not a good thing. That means that you have no outlet. They are just using you as an emotional support animal. You are an emotional support animal. It's fucking horrible. And then it makes you think back. I think back to all the times I was an emotional support animal. Like, I don't even treat my emotional support animal like that. Like, she has autonomy and shit. Yeah, I can be a little Elmira-ish and hold on to her a little too long and she don't like it. And then she bite me and then I let her go. Like, I don't mind. Like, she's telling me she want me to let her go. Like, and I let her go. There'll be hours that I don't even see her. Like, she be in an apartment somewhere. I don't be searching her out and then making her stay with me all fucking day while I'm here. And like, the fuck, there are days that I'm gone the whole day. I don't be like trying to be all up in her. Like, I give her autonomy. I allow her to have her autonomy. I don't try to take it away just because she's smaller than me and like we can't speak the same language, but we still understand each other. Like, the fuck, even when she bite me over here, I just like take her off the couch. Like, the fuck, like, I don't be hit. Why would I hit her? Because you hit the animal. Like, they don't know why you're hit. Not that you should hit animals, but it just makes it worse because they don't know why you're hitting them. And so now they're sad. And they feel betrayed and shit, nigga. And that would fuck with me and shit. I made this animal feel sad and betrayed, and she don't even understand why I'm hitting her and shit. She just thinks I'm a horrible, evil bitch, and I'm not gonna, like, why would I do that? But niggas do that to us. Like, they take our autonomy away from us, or they try their damnedest to, and it's disgusting. That is gross. And so you need to notice when your emotional support animal. Go on TikTok, look up them trends where the women are talking about like what they look like during the relationship and what they look like after. Like they look like drug addicts and shit, like hair missing, teeth gone, like splotchy skin, dry skin, dirty nails, depressed, dark circle, all sorts of bullshit. And then they come out that bitch and they heal and they look like fucking supermodels. Like you had a supermodel, and then over the course of this relationship, she turned into a bog witch. And then after the relationship, she turned back into a supermodel. Yet you're asking, why wasn't she like this during the relationship? You're asking that. The killers in the house, love, it was you. You drained and vampire. You was a vampire. You drained her of all of it. Like you drank cause you don't love yourself. You're like a vortex of sadness that you suck the life out of everyone around you. And then they get tired of like being around you and then they leave. Like I was like that, like, but it was like the opposite. I wasn't abusive. I was just pitiful and miserable and shit. And nobody wants to be around a pitiful, miserable bitch. Like like that's all you talk about every time we come around. Like that's all we're gonna that's all we're gonna talk about. Like that's all we're gonna do. No, nobody wants to be around that. So to be on the other end of the spectrum where instead of being a pitiful, miserable bitch, you're an abusive bitch, like that's even worse, because like you're hurting people and you're manipulating people and you're doing all these fuck things to people, and no one wants to be around you after a while. After you've drained them to a certain point. Like, you got these old ass couples that been together since like the 50s, 60s, 70s and shit like that, when there was nothing, no resources, nothing. And so the women felt like they could, but then you had them stories of women killing their husbands, like the grandmas in the nursing homes telling the aides the stories about like, oh yeah, I just off that motherfucker. He hit me one too many times. Like, where do you think Medea got the shit about the skillet and shit and the hot grits, bitch? That's a tale as old as time, bitch. We've just been coddling these niggas and saving their feelings and shit, bitch. That's all that is. Like, because they're so sensitive and they can't handle the how, if they can't handle the emotions and shit, how are they supposed to protect us? You can't protect somebody if you don't know how to protect yourself. Like, and you can't love somebody if you don't know how to love yourself. You don't know what to do with the other person when they cry and shit, because you don't know what to do with yourself when you cry, except for stick your penis in something. Like, so they end up sexually assaulting your baby mama. And she dissociates too. But because she's trying to save your feelings, she's not going to clock it as sexual assault. Like, oh, I don't want to hurt his feelings, even though like my insides are eating themselves and the cortisol is causing inflammation inside of me because I'm so stressed out and I'm always having panic attacks and shit. But I want to save his feelings though. And then you end up with cancer and you die. Nope. Nope. I'm not saving a nigga's feelings. Fuck your feelings. You didn't care enough about my feelings. You don't care enough about your own feelings to care enough about my feelings. So I don't give a fuck about your feelings, nigga. I was angry. I was upset. All last week I was mad. Audacity of these things. The pure, unadulterated. This is a child making a I think I was the most mad about the Ironheart, whatever the name of the show is, situation, because that had the numbers. That had the most numbers. Like, Chris Brown is one person, Diddy's one person, like DDG is one person. If it was just that, it would just been like, these are one, I can just dissociate from that and act like it's not happening for a week just to breathe. But no, 155,000, maybe and counting, dislikes on a damn trailer. Y'all some niggas. Y'all. And then to go on the like trailer post on Facebook or Instagram and then see, okay, maybe it's just white people that hate us. Maybe like that's fucking, I'm used to that. That's nigga after nigga after nigga. This bitch, we don't want to see her. You should have used da-da-da. This just like fucking Black Panther. Like, we have a Black Panther. It's a woman. It's a woman in the comic books. It's his sister in the comic books. Who should be the next Black Panther? Bitch, we have a Black Panther. They hate us. Oh, fuck. I'm crashing out. They hate us. I need to get the fuck off of here. I'm gonna go. I should have drank this. This caffeine makes me hyphy. I'll drink the rest of it. Fuck it. No, because we do. We have a Black Panther. We have a fucking Black. And then, like, they released it after people. They released a trailer after people kept making posts about why haven't they released a trailer? Why haven't it's been 3 years? Why haven't we heard anything about the show? And then right after people started making posts, because I know this shit, I be scrolling, I be fixating on scrolling and whatever. I don't know. And so they posted it, and now I'm just like, this is why they didn't release the trailer. This is why they don't want to even bring up the show. But we gotta show up. We just gotta show up. That's all. We just gotta show the fuck up. We show the fuck up. We show the numbers. At the very, like, look at Sinners, $300 million and counting worldwide. Like, we just gotta show up for Black women. We can show up for Black men. We can show up for we showed up for Forever. That was Black women. We gotta show up for this. We gotta show up for Black women. Dark skinned Black women. Just show up. That's all. Just show up. It's 6 episodes. I don't care if it's the most horrible show in the world. Just show the fuck up, please. That's all. If it's horrible, it's because they did that shit on purpose. And you know what? Acting can carry a whole fucked up show. Look at that show with The Weeknd. That movie with The Weeknd and that girl from Wednesday. Apparently, I've heard that it's horrible. And like, this goes back to, you need to lean into your strengths and stay. Once the show that you released on HBO, the trailer was horrible. I never watched the whole show, but from what I've read, the show was horrible. When the show didn't do good, why are we? You know what? You have enough money to keep trying, and usually people would practice in private until they get really good at something and then put it out into the world. But you're practicing in the public eye because you have the money to do that, Weeknd. And so I'm not even gonna, maybe you can make this your strength. I don't know. Like, Beyonce seemed like she stepped back from it because, you're the same character in every movie. Maybe that's not your strength, and it's okay. Like, I can't sing. Like... So I'm not gonna go out here and be like on American Idol like them niggas and act like I don't hear myself when I sing. Like, you gotta stick to your strengths, like, and lean into that until you perfect it. And then maybe you dibble dabble in some other things, but you always want to keep pouring into your strengths because you can create level after level after level and keep leveling up in that strength versus petering out in something that's not your strength. And so, he just that's not his strength, right? So just like in that, like he can't act, but they said that girl from Wednesday held that movie together. She held it up with her acting. She did that. And she surrounds himself by decent actors. And so, even if the production value is not where it needs to be because they hate us, I just need, like, she could be a really good actress and hold that shit together and create some magical, just watch the fucking show. No, just. Let me get off of here. I'm cussing. Well, I've been cussing, but I hope you enjoyed this review. Let me know what you think. Nostalgia things that came up, and do nice things for yourself. Go nice places. Be soft. Be gentle with yourself because we deserve it as Black women, especially dark-skinned Black women. And if can't nobody do it for you, do it for yourself. And if people can do it for you too, then even better. So that's what I'll leave you with. Later days.